May 6th, Tuesday, regular meeting of the Harrison County Board of Education. Let's all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. This is down to the first item on our agenda today. Our Harrison County Service Personnel of the Year, and Mr. Lopez will be presenting the Service Personnel of the Year award.
Good evening. It's always good when you can recognize the employees of Harrison County, and this is a great night to be able to do that. Each year, Harrison County Schools recognizes the outstanding efforts of our service personnel. Some of the service personnel positions include classroom aides, secretaries, LPNs or licensed practical nurses, paraprofessionals, brain specialists, braille specialists, cooks, custodians. In our maintenance department, we have heating and air conditioning mechanics, warehouse clerks, carpenters, masons, plumbers, painters, roofers, welders, truck drivers, and electricians, and I'm probably leaving some off. In school transportation, we, of course, have our school bus drivers, school bus supervisors, and our mechanics. All these are the backbone of Harrison County Schools. Without them, Harrison County School really doesn't operate. This year, Harrison County Service Personnel of the Year program honors an individual who has demonstrated exceptional skill and dedication in the performance of their job, thereby earning them the respect and admiration of students, teachers, administrators, coworkers, and parents. After an open nomination period and a thorough review of all Service Personnel of the Year submitted applications, a panel of employees chose Ivy Alonzo the Outstanding Service Personnel of the Year honor for Harrison County Schools. Ivy represents all the hardworking and dedicated employees that work for Harrison County Schools. This year, she has risen above and exceeded all expectations to receive this distinguished honor. And Mr. Tom Tucker is going to present her the award.
But if I take them to the parking lot, I think I can leave.
Just one more minute. So, Heather Holbert, is she here tonight? I believe she is. She put together a few really, really nice comments. And she kind of gave it to me to read, but I really feel like the personal touch is more important coming from the school principal. And I think Mr. Jones, the assistant principal, is here as well. So if you two want to come up, and Ms. Holbert.
Ivy Alonzo is a special education aide at Johnson Elementary School. Her daily work attire includes arm pads, bike sleeves, a walkie-talkie, a bright red backpack full of tricks, and one giant smile. She is well known by all 740 plus Johnson Elementary students, but especially to the students in room 111, where she spends most of her day. And Ivy has one goal for the class: to integrate the students with their peers at every chance possible. Although she serves an entire self-contained classroom, working with 2 other masterful aides and 1 fantastic veteran teacher, Ivy's primary role is supporting 1 child with nonverbal autism and another with Rett syndrome. Both children have a host of allergies and dietary needs, as well as a variety of compulsions, along with 2 adventurous, outgoing attitudes. That red backpack she wears contains random containers of blueberries, prune pouches, Minnie Mouse figurines, and one very particular brand of sea salt chips, which everybody in our entire school knows has the keen ability to calm even the most extreme rage. And I think we have a bag here tonight.
A whole bag.
Despite the outbursts that can happen and the whole team it often involves, Ivy is the constant, the patience, the one who sees the girls through, all with love. She has developed relationships with the children's families outside of school as well, often providing respite care after the school day and on weekends. She can anticipate what is coming based on observing a tight stomach, whether or not they slept well, or if their skin is blotchy. Much like a mother, she knows and understands every groan, cry, and discomfort. Ivy is the fun maker, the dancer, the singer, the one who keeps us all in stitches. Ivy's original application for this competition contained breathtaking letters from both the girls' families who openly and wholeheartedly shared their experience with Ivy and the impact and security it has given them. In fact, Ivy received numerous letters of support from coworkers, administration at other schools, members of the community, and other parents. We know that we have hit the personnel lottery with Ivy. She is highly sought after, has been tempted to perhaps take an easier role, and seemingly has been recruited to bid at other places. But we know Ivy is not going anywhere. Johnson is the school for her. Her job is for her. The kids of her are for her. And we've never been certain of anything more.
So we're going to take this opportunity. This is the last several years working with service personnel. This situation's really touched my heart with the kind words from so many different people, the letters of recommendations. It's just very, very special, and the way. And I've known Ivy for a long time, but very, very special. Really touched, I think, all of our hearts. So I think we're going to take this opportunity to get a picture. Superintendent, Mr. Tucker, and whoever else wants to get involved. And of course, Ivy, you can be involved.
Can we do the kids with her?
Not this, we'll have one picture here and then we'll bring the kids up.
Come on.
Yes.
Let's get one group picture here and then we'll take another picture with the kids.
Congratulations. Good old LHS. Lincoln High. Lincoln High. That's why I didn't say nothing.
Anybody else sneaking behind?
Oh, sorry. In the office.
Bring the kids
Can we
up.
have their administration come up?
Yes.
Real quick, Heather,
Grab the kids.
it's not a question.
No, come on. Patients are thinning. Walk quickly.
And her classroom teacher,
Yep.
Stacy. Good morning.
Stacy. Thank you.
Now the kids.
Now the kids.
I think, I don't know.
Maybe you're the superintendent.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Can I hold it? Can I hold it? Wait, get your picture. Hold it right here, okay?
They're bringing me, yeah. Okay.
Why did you stay here?
No.
Oh, no.
If not.
Oh, okay. She's not.
Okay, turn around there. Yes, Ivy. Turn around there. Yes, Ivy.
Come stand her hand. I have her hand. I'm gonna hold her hand. Here, stand here. I promise. All right, turn it.
All right, look here.
Okay, the camera. Okay. Okay. Got it.
They got it, great.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next on our agenda, we have the Harrison County Teacher of the Year.
That is a very hard act to follow, I will tell you. You can't beat kids. I would like to start out today to just let you know for Teacher of the Year, we had more than 120 nominations for Teacher of the Year. They come from the community, they come from colleagues, they come from students, they come from parents. Anyone can nominate someone. We're very lucky to have the teachers we have in Harrison County, along with the service personnel. Before I introduce this year's Teacher of the Year, I'd like to introduce our finalists. We have two this year. First is Bethany Kolchuk. Bethany, if you'll come up. Bethany's a fifth grade teacher from Johnson Elementary School. She teaches fifth grade English language arts, social studies, and art. She's a national board certified teacher, is an invaluable staff member at Johnson Elementary. We also have a flower for you, but we'll get you that to flip over. Our next finalist is Emily Castelli. She's a second grade teacher at Salem Elementary School. She's a dedicated teacher who's impacted learners there for 7 years. She has a passion for learning and literacy, and it shows every day in her classroom. Thank you. Come on up. Our Harrison County Teacher of the Year is Renee Powell, a fourth grade teacher from Big Elm Elementary School. She's a national board certified teacher. She loves her career. She's dedicated to her students and the love of learning. Teaching is definitely her calling. She builds strong relationships with her students and their families in the classroom and in the community. Her dedication is infectious. Students love to learn in her class. She's a phenomenal role model for students and adults alike. Renee Powell.
Whatever you want.
Recognize the admin here.
Yes.
And their families.
Yes. And there's no way teachers can do what they do without the support of their families, husbands, children who stay at school all the time, that kind of thing, and staff. And I see we have people from Johnson, we have people from Big Elm, and I'm sure Salem, I just don't know, but we have a new husband now, right? And I did say Castelli. Yeah. I have a funny habit of calling her Chrysler. Come on down.
Thank you.
Okay. You do this every time.
David's thinking.
Yeah, he's calling somebody.
We're good.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
Their children are almost taller than she is.
Yeah, for real, they're gonna pass me up soon.
All right, next on our agenda, we have the West Virginia Young Writers Contest. Stephanie, come forward.
Oh, great. Good evening. Mark Twain once said that the difference between the almost right word and the right word is like the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. Tonight, we have the opportunity to honor the Harrison County students that most definitely chose all of the right words. As the coordinator of the West Virginia Young Writers Contest for Harrison County, I'm pleased to announce the 2025 county winners of the West Virginia Young Writers Contest. For grades 1 and 2, Juliana Davis. Juliana's story is titled Dolphins Valentine's Day Party. She is a second grade student at St. Mary's Grade School, and her teacher is here, and it's Christine Manel. Our third and fourth grade winner, Leela White. Leela's story is titled Lost in a Forest. She's a fourth grader at Johnson Elementary School, and her entry was submitted by librarian Mary Lou Smith. Our grades 5 through 6 winner, Colby Watson. Colby his story was titled Wild West, and he's a sixth grader at South Harrison Middle School, and his teacher is Jessica Reed. Our grade 7-8 winner is Cameron Lauer. Cameron's story is titled 1915, and she's an 8th grader at South Harrison Middle School, and her teacher is Sarah Todd. For grades 9-10, Joanna Dong. Joanna's story is titled Just Maddie. She's a 9th grade student at Bridgeport High School, and her teacher is Amy Lemon. And for grades 11-12, the winner is Isabella Hoos. Isabella's story is titled Death's Fatal Mistake. She's a 12th grader at Lincoln High School, and her teacher is Carrie Childs.
These are the winners of the 2025 West Virginia Young Writers Contest for Harrison County Schools. All were invited to participate in the Young Writers Day at Charleston last Friday. Now, I'm not 100% sure that this has ever happened before, but Harrison County has 3 state level winners this year. Our 3rd place winner overall for the entire state is Joanna Dahl. Our 1st place winner for the entire state of West Virginia for grades 1 and 2 is Juliana Davis. And our 1st place winner for grades 7-8 for the entire state of West Virginia is Cameron Lowe. Congratulations to all our winners. This was great.
You should come over.
There we go.
We also have administrators here. I believe your administrators are here. And then we have family as well. Raise your hand if you're a family member.
And teachers.
And teachers.
I don't want to. This is all about her.
I just, you raise your hand.
I'm totally honest.
Are we good? All right, thank you, ladies. Very good.
Congratulations to all of you.
That's a big deal. Kudos to their teachers and families.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have Liza Sauce. Robert C. Byrd won 2 state individual titles in swim. Her individual state titles are 100 butterfly and 100 breaststroke.
Anybody else want to come? All right, is your parents here? Do we have the coach? Coaches make the difference. Your family's here. Yes. Huh? Oh, yes, we have Eric as the AD at RCD, so thank you. You want a picture just with me? That's good. Thank you.
Very good, congratulations. All right, next item on the agenda is community and schools.
Good afternoon. My name is Marissa Shamholtz. I'm the Communities and School Site Coordinator at Washington Irving Middle School. I'm joined by Angie Carvelli, who is at Nutter Fort Intermediate, and Logan McKinney, who is at Nutter Fort Primary, and most importantly, Eli, who is also at Nutter Fort. He is arguably the most important CIS employee that we have. So we just wanted to take a few moments to talk to you about our program. Communities and Schools is not new to Harrison County. It's been here since 2022-2023 school year. And we've just kind of started getting some momentum. It was additionally added to Washington Irving this school year so that we can continue. The whole idea behind Communities and Schools is to get kids to graduation and to help overcome those obstacles as we go on that route. So we do a lot of work with parents and getting good, healthy attendance habits and things like that at the elementary school level, moving up into the middle school and high school. Well, we don't have a high school, but moving up into the middle school level where we start talking about student responsibility and overcoming some of those barriers to coming to school. Most importantly, communities in schools is about building relationships. Like that's really at the foundation of what we do. Building relationships with the staff in our building, with the students, with the families, most importantly, and then fourth with community partners. So the handout that you have just kind of gives some highlights because there two of them could as well. It's such an important program. It's such an important model because it builds all of us together as a community and to pull our community partners into our schools. So we wanted to take a moment just to give you a highlight from each school. At Washington Irving this year, to address food insecurity needs, we started this program called Crock Pot Creations. It's in partnership with First United Methodist Church. They have funded this entire thing. We have a group of 10 kids that meet monthly to learn how to make things in the crock pot that they can take home and make them affordably for their families. I don't think one of our meals has been over $10. We talk to the kids about budgeting. We talk about just some of the barriers that they're experiencing at home. And it's just a really nice time for everybody to come together. And we know how great it is to come together with a meal. So the kids get to sit down, and normally it's before lunch, so they're starving. So they sit down and they get to try what we're making, and then they take those ingredients home to make for their families. And it's been such a good time this year. Next year, as we build into Liberty Middle School, we're looking to expand that so that we can do 20 kids with the church's help. So that's been really great this year. And with it being our first year at Washington Irving, that's just been a really nice highlight, not something you'd think of with communities and schools. And I think that's the important thing. Like, we're thinking outside the box of ways that we can help support our students and our teachers. So I won't be the only one to talk. Let them talk.
I'm Larry McKinney. Clearly, I work at Nutterford Primary. I'm a little jealous. I can't teach 5, 6, and 7-year-olds how to use a crock pot, or I would. So we've got Eli last year. He's been huge to help kids get into school. I mean, kids get excited. I mean, who doesn't get excited to be able to pet a dog at school? I mean, it's just kind of out of the ordinary. Kids have them at home. We try to help them, feel comfortable coming into the school. He's always there greeting the kids coming in. So that's just a piece of kind of what we're doing. Our target was chronic absenteeism, kids missing 10% or more of school. When we got there, I mean, it was 34.17%. Just working with the support team and admin, I got to start the same year as them, and be able to build something it's awesome. I mean, we went from 34.17% chronic absenteeism in school to 19.5 up to date this year. So that's a whole lot more kids getting to class, and it doesn't mean like I'm out there, hey, wake your parents up, get to school. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility for 5, 6, 7-year-olds. So really being able to kind of just make them want to be there, like make a relationship with them. I mean, kids love to help me pass out food bags, stuff like that. Just little things like that can get a kid to want to come to school. Maybe they will wake their parents up. Maybe they will try a little harder. I mean, it's a lot to ask of them, but I think if we do it the right way and approach it the right way, it can absolutely happen. And I think that's been the great part. Basic needs, assistance there. I mean, there's reasons these kids aren't going to school. It's not just they don't want to go. Transportation, it can be they just don't have anything at home. So we do what we can to provide them the basic needs to be able to cover those bases and to get them into school. I think that's what I'll say for now, Angie. Thank you.
And I'm Angie Carvelli. I'm at Nutterford Intermediate. I just wanted to share with you, first of all, I think it was very well said by Jennifer. She said to someone, there is nothing that we don't do when it comes to basic needs, from beds to food to we need to go and have the bed bug lady come to your house. Like, we don't do all of those things. We broker and we work and we facilitate those things. And so it would be great to have a communities and schools person in every building in our county, and there are some counties who do have that. But what I would like to say today is about how meeting basic needs makes such a difference. It might, a lot of schools have the backpack programs or maybe have a food pantry for families. But in our school, that becomes a tool. That is something that gets us into the homes of some of the students who have the most need. Something as simple as Hannah sent me out on an attendance outreach. We weren't able to reach a family. The numbers weren't working. Nobody was answering the call. I go out with the officer DJ just because, we always send 2 people out. He was available. We weren't able to catch that parent, but we left a note for him, a very nice little card, please give us a call. The gentleman comes to school a day or 2 later, and I was able to speak with him. He is a recovering addict. He is a coal miner whose car was broken down. He was trying to find a way back and forth to work. We talked about some of those things, and I said, could you use a food box? And he's like, oh, no, I'm fine. And his girlfriend, who was giving him a ride all the way to Waynesburg for his job, said they really could use it. So he was very proud. He didn't want it. So we gave him the food box. And then it was probably maybe 2 weeks later, and I get a text from him. He lost his job because he couldn't get back and forth to work. He needed another food box. And he said, I really hate to ask, but I really could use that right now. And I said, that's no problem. We'll get it. We'll put it out under the pavilion. It was spring break. So fast forward another couple of days after spring break, and we get another call from him. Actually, I got a text message from him. And when I returned the phone call, he was in rehab. And so when I had to call him back, I had to use the passcode number in order to speak with him. But he had a problem with his son at school, and he wanted to speak to somebody who understood him. And I don't understand him any more than anybody else in our building. We've got great staff. But that relationship was built because of a food box. And so that is the kind of thing that we do, and that is why those basic needs are so important. We're making really great gains with chronic absenteeism. And just to let you know, our program, we have to set a school goal, so all of our school goal was chronic absenteeism. But each year we work with our administration and our school support team to determine. Next year it might be overall attendance rate, whatever we decide that it is. It could be behavior, it could be academic. Typically, attendance is what we've really been focusing on. So I don't know if you all have any questions, but we just wanted to make sure that you knew who we were. Since we've been around for a little while, we want to make sure that you knew about our program and answer any questions you might have.
Does anybody have any questions?
How about the other, was it 19 down to 19% for the one school? What about the other 2 schools? How are we doing there? Or how are you all doing there?
Yeah, so we've got number 4 primaries down to 19%. So it's on the second page of this right here of your handout.
In other words, just look.
Yes. Yes.
Well, and at Washington Irving, we only have like last year's data, which was 36%. I do think the paper says it's from Levis. If I remember correctly, when I did my support plan, I'm pretty sure that came from Zoom.
Little discrepancy.
Yeah, just a little discrepancy. But we've not been able, we've seen a decrease even from last year, even like this year. And not to say that's just CIS, there are some amazing things happening from an attendance standpoint from our administrators and our school staff. But we get to be a partner within that. And I think the really important piece is we have the time and the resources to do things so that teachers can focus on teaching, which is what they are amazing at doing. We get to stop and build those connections with people so that teachers can also build those better connections with their students, so that kids can be attentive in class. So I really think we are such an important cog in the machine at our schools. And I love getting to see the work that they've done at Nutter Fort. I came from a previous county with CIS. So I'm kind of new to the workings of Harrison County, but it's been fantastic.
What would you attribute a couple factors toward the decrease in absenteeism? Yeah, what I'm thinking, could we implement some of these in other schools? Some of these
Sure.
ideas, some of these,
So the state this year changed their attendance policy, and what we're doing, the administrators are calling and talking to the parents about truancy, and, if you have 10 unexcused absences, you're not turning in your parent notes. But what we do is we talk with them about the importance of seat time, and we give them that attendance percentage. So if a student is absent more than 10% of the time, whether it's excused, unexcused, doctor's excused, whatever, then they're academically at risk. We want those kids to be there. So a lot of times we'll even talk with the parents about, oh, they're not sending them because it's a 3-hour delay. They don't ever do anything on 3-hour delay. Well, 3-hour delay means that you only have to come to school a half day and you get counted there for a whole day, like little things like that. And word starts to spread with the parents, and it really, really does make a big difference. So, to say that you can do that in other schools, it's just that conversation, building relationships, that's what it is. We are able to go down that rabbit hole, where, when you don't have that, our counseling staff before was tied up with the food bags and so many of the basic needs things that it's enabled them to do more direct one-on-one working with students and families with regards to mental health. So that's been a really good thing. And in terms of community, I just want to share this one more thing. We presented to the League for Service, and we got a call. That was 2 years ago when we first started. We were presenting to ask for help with our backpack program. And we got a call the other day, and it was from Pam Preston at WBOY, and they are actually going to feature statewide communities and schools to all of the WBOY listing area for what they are calling Founders Day in June, which is our West Virginia Day. They're going to be live in 4 different counties within that viewing area, and they're working with our state, our regional, and our county office. Julie is our county office representative. So they're going to be collecting outside of like Walmarts and asking for lists of things that, people can go in and buy. And they asked us to bring a box truck. So we're excited about that. It's just funny how something so little, we just went there to say, hey, we need help with our backpack program. And then as soon as somebody said, we need something to do, and they said, we don't want to do animals, we do animals all the time. She said, kids. Communities and schools. That was in her mind because they had heard and talked about that with us. So we're getting our name out there, and we're doing good things.
And I think the really cool part is we're not just 3 individuals that are working in these silos. We're a part of a statewide web of site coordinators in all 55 counties with regional specialists who help us from like a data side of things, because we collect a lot of data on the work that we do. And so I think that was the point that I wanted to make. I apologize. It's the end of the day.
that's quite all right.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I know you got a lot
Thank
going on.
you.
Do you guys have anything to say? Would you like to speak? Would you like to?
We just really appreciate having them in our school building. We've noticed a huge difference. When Mrs. Oliverio and I started, we started at the same time at the beginning of the year, and we did not have Mr. Logan with us until I believe it was around February or March of that first year. And from the beginning of the year until when we got him, it was amazing the difference that he's been able to make with our students. Having another male role model in our building is amazing for our kids. We now have Mr. Schaefer as our counselor, Mr. Logan, and in an elementary school, we are 99% female. And a lot of our students, especially our young boys coming into kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, they really look up to Mr. Logan every day. There's a few that don't want to come in the front door in the morning, except for if Mr. Logan is out there waiting to lead them in. And so that in itself just makes a huge difference, his space being consistent for them every day. So we really appreciate having him.
I take care of Eli overnight.
Yeah, Mrs. Oliverio. We all 3 are handlers for Eli. They trained us last year, and we just actually recertified him last week, so he is good for another year. And he's remembered, thank goodness, everything that they gave us the command list, and we were a little worried about him for a little bit. But he passed, so we did him for a year, but she is our primary handler, so he stays with her.
Along with Logan and Dr. Gibber as well. But I just wanted to say, Communities in Schools has really helped to break down barriers for our families. Provided us with this resource. He is not just for our students. He is for the staff and the families that come in. We could have a kiddo that is just in pure crisis, and he can come and sit by them, and they touch him, and it's over. We've never seen quite anything like it. It's amazing. And we do try to share some with Nutter Fort Intermediate. We'll take a tour over there sometimes, and they all just love Eli. He just can brighten up a room for sure. So he's quite a
Can
celebrity.
you show them the snuggle?
If Holly will let me do it. We'll see if he'll do it. Snuggle.
Sure.
He did
You
this.
can't really do that with the little ones.
We were nervous about him remembering snuggle, and he did a nice job when we practiced it for the, for his handler the other day, so we'll see. Snuggle. Snuggle.
Oh, he's like, now stop.
He's like, I don't know about the end of the day.
It is the end of the day.
Snuggle. All right. We had a treat in our hand when we practiced. Got him to do it.
This is one of his favorite things, just to snuggle with the staff and the students, and it really does.
Yeah, we have a line of teachers sometimes at the end of the day.
Maybe they're.
Come looking pretty Eli.
I do Eli.
So, it's really been it's been a game changer for our little kids, for our students. So, something. You want to stay there?
Yeah, you
We'll
might.
stay.
We'll stay all evening, I think.
Yeah. Oh, go on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something. Hey, before you all leave, I come up every day, pick up my granddaughter at Nutter Fort, and I get there plenty of time, and the buses come in, the circle and line up, and the elementary, the primary goes first. When they get there, the kids all come out. There's no parent, kids come out, and all the teachers lead them around. It looks like a parade every day. They get them on their right bus, and everybody's helping them. Then it's the intermediate's turn. They're sitting there, and principals, every teacher, every administrator, and I don't know who all else, they're out there every day to make sure every one of them kids get safely on the bus and on the right bus to be able to go home. And it's really kind of a joy to watch, to know that your kids, are safe. Mine doesn't ride the bus, but she, when she gets out later, a few minutes later, it's funny because and then when the buses leave, they all leave at one time. They're all gone. And I've never seen one left behind yet. So it goes back to where, the old adage was, nobody left behind. Well, that's true every day. And they do a tremendous job, all the administrators and all the teachers.
Yeah, and Communities in Schools does the bottom parking lot, which is what everybody talks about, and they are down there, have an organized pattern
Yeah.
map, so we couldn't do it without them. There used to be a principal down there, so I'll be honest, and then that took away from dismissal and issues, so tremendous help in every part of the day, yes.
And once the buses have left, the walkers are coming out, you look out and it's looked like a tidal wave.
We say the Walking Dead.
Yes, they are.
So, but kudos to all of you for the great job that you did.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Last of our special presentations and recognitions, Millie Michael, Project Isaac. No, I wondered if Eli wanted to take.
And Mary Jo Bastine.
Oh, and Mary Jo Bastine, yes. No.
We didn't do a handout, but we got a little
PowerPoint present or slideshow presentation to show you. We want to thank you for allowing us to come and present this evening about the 21st Century Grant Funding Programs, and specifically our program here in Harrison County, Project Isaac. Isaac is an acronym for Increasing Student Achievement and Advancing Communities. So I'm the 21st Century grant writer and director here for Harrison County Schools, and this is.
I'm Mary Jo Bastine, I'm a site coordinator. I think I've been in this position for 5 years, I would say. I think 2020 was my first year. I've been with the program for about 7.
She's also the recreation leader and
I think I've been everything.
just about everything, yeah, so she's got a lot of experience with it. So we wanted to just kind of touch base about the type of funding for Project Isaac here. It's 21st CCLC, so that's 21st Century Community Learning Centers. It's national funding, and then each state competes to get their own funding. This year's West Virginia was able to get $800,000, which they were able to distribute in a highly competitive grant process. We used to only get in the state about 25 applications, 25, 30. Sherry told, she's the State Department coordinator, Sherry Swin. She told me that this year they got, I think, upwards of 40 maybe. So, I mean, and you hand out anywhere from 50 to a $265,000 grant. So you're looking at 4 grants maybe, depending on, or maybe 8, depending on the amount of funding that each entity, whether it be a community-based program, church-based, or school-based, how much they ask for to be able to run their program sufficiently and successfully. So that's the first bullet point. The minimum is $50,000, and of course the top is $250,000. But we can also get a $10,000 transportation stipend on. Well, I shouldn't say stipend because that makes you think of personnel probably. But it's added on top of that if your county isn't able to provide. We provide in-kind activity buses already to the schools, which our students are allowed to ride home in addition to the band students and athletes and stuff. But if we would have, a situation where we couldn't provide transportation home, that $10,000 stipend would help. It wouldn't. I've got 2 people in here that know it wouldn't cover the cost for the whole year, but it would help a little bit. And I'll tell you what, Todd, I need my reading glasses. I can't see. No, go back. I can't see my bullet points. All right. Hold on, let me step over here for a second. Okay. So 2 years ago, we used to, I've been in 21st Century off and on between this and being an administrator. So now I think this is my 10th year. So I've been in 21st Century for about a decade. And when I was an administrator, I went to the state level and I was a peer reviewer. I'm also a peer reviewer for multiple other states around the nation. And so 2 years ago, West Virginia actually changed how we did it. We used to get $110,000 per site, no matter what. And 2 years ago, they changed it to where you get $3,050 based upon every child, average daily attendance, every child sitting in a seat. So what that means is it doesn't have to be the exact same group sitting in a seat every day, but the total number of daily attendees has to average out, in order to get your money. And so you would multiply basically the 3,050 times your ADA. Currently, and I don't want to jump ahead, but currently we are right at the national standard for middle school and high school students. So we are being very competitive here in Harrison County. And like I said, we'll talk about that later. And then the next one is just, I've already mentioned that LEAs, CBOs, which are community-based organizations, churches, which are kind of your private sector, all of those are applicable for this 21st century funding. And what this money is allowed to do is to provide before or after school programs or services, as well as summer services. Okay. And then I just listed out some of the fundable activities. It's a wonderful grant that kind of tried to encompass the whole child, the whole student, and everything that they need, from academic to truancy, to credit recovery, prevention, counseling, social emotional wellness, physical activity. I wrote a grant for the county a few years ago, and unfortunately we didn't get it, but it included everything. I think credit recovery at Lincoln. I think Pam, you wanted some Spanish and computer classes that you couldn't fit in during the regular school day, provided after or before school. And then I think over at RCB, we're gonna do somewhat of a freshman academy after school because they were struggling there that year. So, I mean, it's a very creative blend of activities that we're allowed to provide with a certain pot of money. And then at Mountaineer Middle, specifically, the funding that we have, it provides a part-time director, that's me, at least 10 hours a week, and that's what I'm currently working, 10 hours a week. I don't want to be full-time. I run the program 10 hours a week all throughout the year. And then you're allowed a 30% allocation for administrative funding with this grant, but that's the cap. And, you know, if it's a $250,000 grant, that's a lot of money. That's what needed, like 45,000, something like that. That's a lot of money to cover a director. In addition to that, we've got 6 after-school professional staff that provide, well, 5 of them provide direct services to the students. Mary Jo's like coordinator is not supposed to provide direct students, but she is so awesome that
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to.
yeah.
I'm done.
We're not tagging, that's not against the rules, but she doesn't have to, but she's so wonderful that she has implemented an SEL component every day after school, and it not only helps our students, she also includes the staff. And that builds a better relationship between our staff and students because sometimes our staff members are having a bad day. And so when they do the various activities, you know, like they did one where you pulled stuff out of a cup and each had to talk about a certain subject, and they passed a ball and they had to talk about a certain subject, or she just asked them, yeah, I'll let her talk about that a little bit more. But the staff participates as well, and it really lets the students see, hey, okay, well, they had a bad day too, but they're not taking it out on me, so maybe I shouldn't take it out on them. Kind of opens their eyes a little bit. And then as an in-kind match, we have a cook, Miss Kim. She stays after, and she is phenomenal. My goodness.
steak hoagies today with peppers in them.
I mean, and she is part of our career component because she if we would let her, she would have the students in the kitchen cooking every day. And it's not just, let's go in there and slop some stuff together. No, they have to follow the protocol. I mean, it's like a CTE classroom in there when Ms. Kim teaches them how to cook. It's wonderful. And career-based learning is one of our goals. And then I think the last under that was transportation. The county already has the activity buses, so it's an in-kind match. You have to have so much in-kind match to the grant. We talked to Mr. Lopez, and he allowed, you know, our students, of course, to ride the bus because it's for all students. But of course, I went to him and asked for permission because that's just what I do. All right. We have some really good staff. Like I said, our students served for the year. We have 100 programmatic days, and the federal government wants to go more towards hours. That way, that's why on the right side, you'll see hours, like days and hours. Because now, we used to have to take attendance at the beginning of the program, which as teachers, we take attendance. Some take it at the beginning of the day, some take it at each class. It just depends on your level. Now, they have to take attendance for every rotation. So if a child leaves a half hour early, Mary Jo has to go back into the 21st century portion of WEVIS. It is a part of WEVIS, but they're not connected. And notate, eventually a child left 15 minutes early because the federal government is that strict. They're changing, so they want minutes, not days anymore. So she has her hands full with students and class changes, plus keeping that data of attendance and all the activities that we do. But for the year, you can see we've served 43 students in total. That's the second box from the left. And then the second box from the right, and then the last box, you can see of the 43 students that we've served, half of them have met the criteria, the goal for 21st century learning programs. They wanted 20%, we had 20 students stay 30 days or more, and 23 stayed 60 to 90 hours. So that's at least 30, we're a 2-hour after school program. So
I think with middle school is you have sports, so they're constantly changing. We might have had a kid in the fall and we might not see him back until after basketball season. And that's how we are, like if they're signed up, they can come any time of the year. We're not strict on that. So that's why those numbers are a little bit funky because like I can name probably 40 kids that we've served, but we just don't see them nearly as often. And that's just the nature of the beast of middle school. You're competing against the sports, and we're not competing. We always tell them, you play your sports. If you don't have practice at 3 on Monday, you have it at 5, come, and that helps with sports too. And some kids might not get to play the sports if their practice is at 5 o'clock. So they're coming to us and then they're going, and that's like a huge deal. We have softball girls that will leave at around 4:30 and go to practice. And we always tell the coaches, hey, if you have one of those kids like that, send them to us and then we'll give them back to you. So that's always very helpful with sports.
Yeah, because with our after-school PBIS program, we have a celebratory field trip at the end of each semester, and we monitor attendance, behavior, whether they've turned in the homework that they worked on during Project Isaac, and we'll get to our schedule here in just a minute. But we never count the absences against them where they're involved with another organization. And it doesn't even have to be a school organization. If they're involved in a community with 4-H or a church after-school program or something like that, we're not going to hold that against them for our after-school PBIS program. We want them to be well-rounded citizens. And then on that last slide in the middle, you hopefully you saw 14 for our ADA, our average daily attendance. The national average daily attendance for secondary students, that's middle and high school, ranges, depending on urban or rural, from 15 to 17. So we're right on. I mean, we're competing with Florida and like the big Chicago schools because it's not per capita. I mean, big schools, little schools, they're getting about, because of all the extra things that they do, they're getting about 15 a night, and so are we. So, I mean, we are very competitive here in Harrison County for keeping our middle school students afterwards. Thanks, Mom. I'll let Mary Jo talk about specific.
All right, so we start our day with dinner, and like Millie said, Miss Kim spoils us every day. And then I think we've done it for about 2 years now. Myself and Cynthia Cutlip will lead a 3 years social emotional learning activity, because we were getting into we would do it at the end. We would do like some kind of big group activity, but we were seeing that they were acting up, and I didn't see the kids beforehand because I don't teach at Mount View Middle. So I don't know what kind of day these kids have. So if I take that 30 minutes of either talking to them about their day, or we play different games like Millie mentioned, I can catch what kind of maybe attitudes they have that day. And I could say, hey, let's go starting homework, let's talk this out, and then you can go to your rotations. And that's helped my teachers a ton, because I was kind of nipping the behaviors in the bud before they were going to the rotations. So I looked at Cynthia one day and I was like, why have we not been doing this for like the last 5 years? Because this has been like awesome. I mean, because I don't know what happens at Mountaineer Middle, so I don't know what happens until they tell me. And different activities we do, like today, there's this like TikTok trend where they match the colors and they have to switch. But I don't know, but I played it into a game, and they really like that. But I can kind of see how they are that day by these social emotional activities. And it might just be, I might just throw a question on the board, what's something you dream of, or something like that, and they just go around and talk to it. It could be as simple as that. Or we let the kids direct the games, they get to pick the games, different things like that. And it just takes 30 minutes, and it's not anything that's like, I mean, I didn't make it up, I just look online and look, see what they like and everything. Then we have rotations of ELA, math, and STEM, and rec, of course, we gotta have rec.
Typically, we have 4 teachers every day with the model that was constructed in the original grant. Unfortunately, we have some teachers that don't want to work every day after school, and that's fine. That's fine. We've made it work. So our STEM enrichment person only works 2 days a week this year, and we just lost our recreation leader a month ago. And so that's why we took that out of the 4-group rotation and then put it at the bottom as whole group recreation, and then all my teachers go in and supervise that. So
Which helps, because some games you can't play with 7 kids, but you can play with 15 kids, so that helps. But we have to kind of be creative with our schedule and make sure that we are meeting all of our qualifications and everything like that. Special presenters, we had 4-H come, the FBI came to just to talk about different opportunities they have. And county commission came, John Spires came to tell them about the voting class and how to register to vote. We try to do different things that they may have never heard of before, like you tell an 18-year-old to go register to vote. I mean, I know now we do it in schools, but they might not know the process if they missed that day of school. So like it was a great resource for him to come. We also had Jody Barbario. Right? Yes. She came and did like a wellness activity and it was phenomenal. So we try to do that at least every other week. We bring in the community. And I'm so glad we were here the same days as communities in school because we still have a year of our grant where we'll be Liberty Middle and they'll be in Liberty Middle as well. So I think that will be a good partnership because they can refer kids and maybe we could get that truancy number even better. Because I think having that first year grant at the new school will be tremendous to try to bridge that gap of WI and Mountaineer. And two of our teachers are WI teachers. Lori Knight, she wanted this job, but she wanted it because she wanted to know some of the kids from Mountaineer Middle, and she had some faces to look forward to seeing come next school year. So I think that will be a good way to bridge that, and I think working with them will be a fantastic partnership as well. Oh, and then we went on a field trip to the dinosaur exhibit. I'm a little partial to the dinosaur exhibit, but
She's previously Parks and Rec. That's
yes, but Mike Book and Wilma Swisher took us around and showed us all the nice dinosaurs. And then these are just some activities that we did. They had to map and make a bunny, as you can see on the top, and then
So our students typically are not the ones that fit into any other niche. You know, they're not athletes. They're not typically, I mean, you have a few athletes because we lose a bunch for track every year. They're not typically your band or your thespians or, you know, your academically achieving students. They're high risk. And that's we're looking at what we're working with the kids we're supposed to be working with. Because that's what the grant focuses on, the low SES, the high behavior students, the truancy students, things like that. And so Lori told me when I saw that in the hallway, because she had displayed it outside the classroom that John likes to use, she said, Millie, they work so hard on that. They work so hard on that because even as a middle schooler, some of these students, they could barely add the year. And I mean, I walked in several times for observations. They were playing Farkle, is that what it is? It's like, and you have to multiply whatever your die is by 100, and they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure it out. And she was so patient, and she was working with them and trying to help them to understand.
because our groups, we can't have more than 15 kids. And I mean, like you know, our numbers, we don't have 15. So we can give a little bit more one-on-one than what the teachers can at school. So that's why we're so important, because we can give that extra one-on-one.
So that's why we wanted to include that bunny for spring, that multiplication bunny, because they really struggled. They really struggled with that.
And then our culinary arts, every year we do the cake challenge. This year we did cupcakes, but that's our family night. Doors attended, fans attended. But it is a great way for the parents and the kids to work together on something. It is hysterical to watch.
If you've done a STEM challenge before where they kind of give you the project and then you have to figure it out yourself without any instruction, that's what we kind of do. It's like the Nailed It, is that the TV show Nailed It? And so that's what we kind of implement because the kids love culinary arts. I mean, if anything, they beg to cook. They beg to cook more. And they don't cook the cakes and things like that, but to decorate them, I mean, Pam's counting sprinkles when she's judging, and Dora's like, okay, well, this has a swoosh here, but the main cake doesn't have a swoosh here. But the thing is engagement, family engagement. 21st century, we don't invite the family to come and watch a play because they're not engaged with their students. We want to build family relationships. So that's why we've had, not at Mountaineer, but at my other out-of-county schools, before when I had out-of-county schools, we did paint and sips in the winter, and the kids would have to measure and mix the hot cocoa for, that was the sipping. But they would have to measure it, and they would have to be the party planners, and they'd have to set out the easels, and they had to do everything, and then they got to paint with their parents. They sat side by side, and they were engaged with each other. And that made a bigger impact than the parents just coming and watching them do something. Like, they were talking to each other. It was so neat to hear that.
I watched a student crack his first egg this year, and I got a picture of it, and I wish I should have sent it to them. I'm thinking of it now. It was hysterical. The girl, he had the egg in his hand, he's like, I don't know what to do, and the girl goes, she just hit it off the table and you put it in there, and he was like, and he did it, and his face just was like, what did I just do? But it was just hysterical. But we added something this year. Birthdays might not get celebrated. So our grant funds, if they're baking the cakes, we can buy the cake mix and all that stuff. So once a month, I'll be like, whose birthday's in January? And we will bake the cake and we'll decorate it. And then the whole group sings to them. And
They have to read the recipe, read for understanding. They have to measure the components.
they have to crack the eggs.
And yeah, they have to do all that. So it's academic and career-based.
Yeah. So. And we're talking about the cake challenge now, and then our spring field trip last year was to Cooper's Rock. We had a lot of fun.
It's a lot, very foggy, but they still have it. We try to make every trip educational, so they talked about West Virginia culture and history before they went on that trip. This spring, we're gonna try to go fishing again because that's a West Virginia heritage. And then we're gonna go bowling. And so the week before, they're gonna teach bowling and recreation. We're just gonna teach how to calculate your score in math. And then when they go bowling, they're turning the scoreboards off and they're gonna calculate it by hand as part of that educational component. And it's a recreation component.
So last year we started the end of the year celebration where we gave out little awards like Kit Kat, I don't know what, like, it was like just.
Every candy bar represented a kid's personality. It was very cute.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it again this year, and it is on May 15th. If anyone would like to come, I'll also send out an email reminder. They've already planned it today. We're doing a barbecue and games, so a picnic theme.
And it's gonna be a family engagement night. So they're gonna try to make ice cream in a bag with their parents or guardians, and they're gonna work together and do that.
And Miss Kim has a recipe for pepperoni rolls in a bag, so they put all the stuff in and they mix it, and then they'll make their own pepperoni rolls, so. They had ribs and steaks on their options, but.
We said no.
It was just like, I was like, okay, yes, I'll just send it. And I will say, one of the options was Miss Mary Jo dressed like a clown, so you might be seeing that. If you show up next Thursday, you might be seeing that.
And last but not least, we have our Spring Advisory Council as part of the grant. One of the components is to have a call on the Spring Advisory Council.
Mr. Checker
this night. Yeah, they've been gracious enough. You've come, 3 years now running. Thank you for that. Mr. Checker came for his first time this year. And so we just try to get voices, from the county office, from the county,
and community, yeah. Whoever we have present, I usually send them an email, hey, we're having a advisory council meeting, just so they can give their input, because they see our program, so.
So if you have any questions about the consolidation and how we're gonna provide after school or the grant funding or how it's all gonna work, we'd be more than happy to try to answer.
Mr. Tucker?
You said that you had a grant for one more year. Do you anticipate, first of all, with Washington Irving and Mountaineer coming together, I'm sure those numbers are gonna be larger now. Yeah, I can't imagine that they wouldn't be.
Yeah, anybody can refer, teachers, parents, administrators,
Right.
counselors, they can all refer.
And us having already 2 teachers that care so much about it, it should be
Right.
better than good, yeah.
And I had the honor of being at Washington Irving there too, but over at Mountaineer there for a few weeks whenever Mr. Rogers, his assistant, was out. And I did get to see the program in action and Mrs. DeMarco.
This is Vaseline now.
At that time, coming in and working that. But you mentioned about the grant, so it's only good for one more year. What's the process on starting to apply for it again and all that?
It's a 5-year grant cycle, and they open it every February 1st. And then it's usually due the first week of May or the last week of April, depending on where it falls on the calendar. So you have a couple of months to prepare for it. And then it starts the new fiscal year. The county fiscal or state fiscal year starts July 1, but federal monies start October 1st. So they try to get it to us beforehand because they're kind of working with an overlap pot of money. So they can sometimes get us our money mid-July, mid to end. That way we can have summer trainings and things like that. But 21st Century as of right now, there's some possible changes in the mix, but it's a 5-year grant program, so we're on our 5th year.
So you're not talking about this batch?
No, this,
So
we
this
have-
Oh,
year,
sorry, next year will be our 5th year, I apologize.
well, no, but what I mean is then you'll be able to apply in January, is that what you're saying?
Next year?
Yes.
Yes.
For the next 5 years, okay.
Yeah, you can apply for multiple grants. You can apply up to 2 per year if you'd like, for as many schools as you can provide services to with the monies
One thing about it, by that time, you'll have more of an idea of
yeah.
your numbers.
I think having that first year will definitely be an eye opener and seeing how many we can get in the seat.
Right.
Because I think there's gonna be like 700, so. Yeah. But a little more.
Anybody else have any other questions or concerns?
We're not having program in the summer this year. So we have in the past, but we're not having program in the summer. Just building.
Change the bills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just say one thing, these guys are phenomenal, and really working with Millie I met her when I came in, really in personnel, because at that time you were coordinating programs all over.
All over, yeah.
And all the
And Board
other
of
counties, and
Counties,
they've
yeah.
since dropped off, and so we were having to post and hire for all these other counties, and I met Mary Jo over there, so it takes folks like this to make programs successful. And so I just appreciate it. If you want a great grant writer, and we're looking at that maybe. But I think the county school systems are going to have to start looking at more grants that are available to fund different things, because it's a very different world we're in right now. And Millie is a phenomenal grant writer. She's been doing it a long time, so.
She's a great boss too.
Yeah, and I know you're working on with some other counties.
Yeah, you see it from there?
As a consultant, she's working in some other counties. I know Lon County is using her for working with her for grants. So I look to have a partnership to look at some other things here.
I'm
Since
working
you
in Harrison
I won't
County,
make you
so
work more
I'll be happy to.
than 10 hours.
Yeah. Let me
She has
think,
babies.
yeah, I don't know.
She has babies. So, I just appreciate it. This is another example. I mean, you've seen community in school. Now this, I mean, we've just got great people in the.
I'm really excited about it. I mean, I knew some about it, but it was great to hear about it today and that they're a WR. I mean, that was really good.
I mean, we're going to have Project Aware next year also in the new middle schools.
Yeah.
You're gonna have community in schools. Now Project Isaac there, plus we've got 2 federal programs merging, so you'll have additional title teachers in that building that will add to the extended program. So we're trying to get as many resources there as we can.
It's a large school, yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any delegations? No delegations, superintendent's update.
Okay, it's hard to follow all these things, right?
Yeah.
There's a few things. I think, Mr. Oliverio, did you have a handout on the information about, did we make copies of that?
I don't know if we made copies.
You want to talk about, we were talking about why students are exiting public schools, and he's been researching that
I did not
and
have that.
looking at.
Did you happen to bring that down here?
I did not. He gave it to me. Let me see if I have. Yes.
Okay, great.
I couldn't make copies.
So I do have just a small report for you all. And we use data from Levis to make this report, which has its own issues with that. This is using unenrollment data from Hope Scholarship Homeschool Charter, what they designate as preschool withdrawal, non-public education, and micro school. I'm not entirely sure what non-public education entails. We think that when you designate someone to this, that it's not Hope Scholarship, but they left and went to a private school, for whatever that's worth. It's kind of an outlier, but it is in this. We looked at key trends, and all of the charts are actually here too. Of course, all identifiable information has been removed from this. We looked at demographics, and we tried to just connect some dots. And to be honest, didn't come up all that great when it comes to just connecting everything. I just want to make sure everybody understands this is a living document. This is not a final document. We'll need to look at these things throughout the years. This is something that you tweak every year, and you look and you say, okay, maybe a school made inroads at the top half of the county, maybe the bottom half of the county needs this, maybe this. So again, this is a living document. The top reasons for unenrollment. Homeschooling is a leading cause of unenrollment, or this is the leading. When we say reasons, I'm going to just stick with those categories. Homeschooling is the leader right now. Hope Scholarship is significant, and charter schools are coming up in third right now. We did omit a lot of other transfers. There is a lot of out-of-county transfers. There's a lot of out-of-state transfers. I think those are over 500. This does not include any students who have re-enrolled.
The transfers, were they to other schools in other counties?
We don't know
Or they
that.
moved? Okay.
All that it's designated is out of county.
So
We don't
maybe
know
they
where
moved,
they
maybe
went,
they
we
just-
don't know. At least where I got this data did.
Okay.
The thing about Weebus, which is interesting, is that it's still quite siloed. Okay, so it doesn't quite talk to itself yet. You may see it designated as, this is the unenrollment data. But at another screen, you honestly may see something different. And Renee and I sat up there, tried to figure it out. It's a little wonky right now, and it doesn't seem to actually talk to itself. And what you'll see here, you're going to look at these numbers and say, hey, that doesn't quite match what we've lost. Because it doesn't. It's really weird. I've been trying to understand it, because if you take out the 500, it was something like over 2,000 unenrolled. Okay, but that's transfers to in-county schools, that's transfers out of counties. And you look at this and you think, David, we only lost 300, 400, or 500 kids. That's what we're down from last year, but your unenrollment has like 1,000 students in it. This does not include anyone who has re-enrolled. That would take a lot more effort than I had time to give, to be quite honest with you, because I'd have to go student by student by student. And after 2,000 names, that was going to get really difficult. But I think we can draw some things from here. There's nothing really in the demographic trends. Gender was evenly distributed. Disabilities kind of didn't really play into it. Grade level trends. A lot of this is coming from pre-K withdrawal. So we've lost a lot from pre-K withdrawal. Charter transitions are highest 6th through 8th. So middle school is where we're seeing a lot of people go from charter schools. And again, a lot of this stuff may change next year, but right now this is what we've seen. Again, a lot more pre-K. School-specific trends. Nutter Fort Primary was the highest in homeschool withdrawals. Big Elm had mixed homeschool and pre-K. Bridgeport High School had high charter and homeschool exits.
I'd like to say something about pre-K. The pre-K withdrawals are, a lot of them are, we have to enter in, we're collaborative with Head Start. Head Start has a 3-year-old program. We have to enter them into WEVIS. They're coded as EN88. We have to enter them into WEVIS because they have to do what we call our ELRS, that's an assessment. Those 3-year-olds also have to be in there. They have to have a WEVIS number to do that. A lot of those pre-K withdrawals are 3-year-olds that are not really ready for school and they'll withdraw from Head Start. So a lot of those are not our 4-year-olds, our county 4-year-olds. A lot of them are 3-year-old withdrawals.
And we don't know where they went.
And
So-
it doesn't
No,
indicate
they
that
don't meet the state requirement to be in pre-K.
Correct.
Maybe.
Correct. Like they may
Normally,
withdraw.
But again,
They should have never.
We would need to look into
start
each
with
student.
what we did.
We
Like
would need to look into each student to verify any of this stuff, and we just really didn't have time to do any of that. One of the things that jumped out in the data is none were marked chronically absent. So no one was marked chronically absent. And we don't know if that updates at the end of year or if we're doing a real bad job of actually inputting data. It's real weird that none of these kids were marked chronically absent. I'm not saying we have a huge problem, but none. There has to be a small percentage here in my mind that has to be, and it's real weird. That's why I don't know how much I trust this data right now. We may look at this in July, and it may say something different because the system doesn't talk to itself, and it may need time to update. Again, we're not sure. Because if you go to Zoom WV, it says that we have whatever percentage. It's just really weird that this whole thing is marked no. It's very awkward to me. I can't express that enough.
Zoom, I can tell you, Zoom, WB, and WEVIS never, very seldom asked.
Right.
I don't understand.
And WEVIS should be driving Zoom WV.
Yes.
So therein lies one of the huge problems. But there's a couple of.
Between this year and last year with the WEVIS. I mean, this isn't the first year of the quote new WEVIS.
I can tell you we've gotten better at it. A lot better. I tell you, it's a lot better. And I think everyone up here can verify that one. We are so much better at this than we were last year, and we were better last year than the year before, and we've gotten better year over year. It gets difficult when you deal with such a large group, and not just of students, but of employees and things like that. Keeping everyone on the same page day in and day out, doing those things is very difficult, which we can talk about ways to get our employees better and to do better training like that. We can talk about that some other time. One of the things, so we get kind of to what do we do? Like I've said before, we can do Facebook advertising, we can create videos, we can do all that, but by law, we have to actually talk about how Clarksburg Classical Academy is an option. And at that point, the law actually says every charter that serves your area. So if there's an online charter, we have to say that that's an option. We legally have to do that.
You have access to their data?
No, and they don't legally have to tell them about us. There's some other things, other gripes that I have about whatever system that the state came up with, but that's neither here nor there. I'm kind of proposing a little bit more of guerrilla marketing. Okay, so guerrilla marketing is low cost, high impact. It uses what you have access to and amplifies that. If we do this, and there's a lot in here, and I'll let you guys, I'll talk about maybe one of the things that I want to do. There's things that you could do, neighborhood canvassing, there's personalized outreach, there's things like that outlined in here very briefly. But one of the things that I'm proposing is that we create a team that goes to local events. Every fair, every festival, every national night out, every tree lighting ceremony, everything we can get our hands on, and we have a table there. And every single time, if it's in December, we have information on whatever we're doing in December or upcoming events. And when it's time for pre-K, We need information there, QR codes, whatever the heck we can get that says, here's pre-K information. We can point them to the website where it does satisfy the law and says that Clarksburg Classical Academy is an option. But at that point, we're just giving out information. But they see you. And I can tell you that our competitors are there. They're at the events. We're not. And we need to rectify that situation. Now, what we can do, I don't want to shoulder the whole load myself because I can't be everywhere and everything all at once. I would like more of a committee that not only kind of helps be at those places, but helps, what do we bring? What do we want it to look like? We need it to look uniform every single time. We need tablecloths, we need banners, we need stuff. Don't need trinkets. Again, we don't need trinkets, this is informational. But every time I go, I better have a stack of calendars for the upcoming year. That way we can hand that out, hand it out, hand it out, hand it out. Something like that. I just need volunteers to do that, and I need help in doing this. We have a couple of ladies from the curriculum department that are gonna help out, but we need better guidance with that. And we need I wanna make it a little bit more formal guidance, rather than us just kind of doing helter skelter.
I how that would work as far as just hours and time. What if we reached out to our levy committee?
Can certainly do that. Again, I'm saying this because I don't want to, kick the ball around myself. I need help doing it. I cannot do it all myself. They're going to help, but we need guidance. We need, we're already scheduled for National Night Out, Clarksburg and in Bridgeport. We'll already be there.
Guidance from.
What's that?
Who are you looking for guidance from?
I think he wants a committee.
Yeah.
Time to talk about, right?
I love the ideas, and whatever you all would recommend, that'd be great, but I do need a committee that helps out with that. I wouldn't mind having some input from some of the schools. If I'm going to an event in Shinston, I wouldn't mind having Mr. Decker there, or someone else there that can help me out in, connecting to the schools. The point of this is to make personal connections, which is something that I think we're lacking, and our competitors are not. But like I gotta tell you, our competitors are there, and that's how we have to view them as competitors. They're going to be at every church. They're going to be at every opening day for youth baseball. They're going to be everywhere, and unless we're there too, we're not going to be in the minds of our communities. They are, we will not. But there's other stuff here with that, so I will leave that up to you all to kind of give some direction and let me know how you would like to proceed.
I think our city councils would want to be involved too.
Well, like First Fridays, things like that, and whatnot. And I will have to say, Mr. Oliveri is about everywhere I go when we're covering things. I mean, he's about everywhere. So, for superintendent's update, I also wanted to just take you to the high schools and all the proms. We had a lot of proms going on. There's just a lot going on this month. It's just kind of starting. So if you have the opportunity to get out to some of the events and things going on, not only did the proms go well, do you have a daughter in the prom? It's always a big deal. And on Sunday, it was fun because we gave out the Student Achievement Awards, Harrison County Student Achievement, which is unique really to Harrison County. And we gave out over $35,000 to kids, and the fascinating piece was, I loved it because all the girls coming and the young men coming, they had been to the prom the day before, so we saw their shoes, we saw their nails. So that made it a little different, but that's exciting, just celebrating the kids and all the scholarships and the sponsors. It's just unreal how much money that they had gotten and all the sponsors that came and were there to get pictures taken with the kids. Then we had an opportunity last night. It kind of came out of the blue to take a group to Charleston, to the Ron Park. Didn't know much about him. I knew of his books. We tried to get him here before, and he is quite expensive. Julie works with the professional, with the CE council, and this opportunity kind of fell in our lap. Actually, I was not here one day and somebody walked in and knew her, right? You want to talk about that a little bit, how it happened?
It was a regional director from Huntington Bank, and Mike White is somebody I went to school with, who was at Huntington Bank here, and knew me. Came in and said, can we talk? And they just had this great professional development opportunity for an elementary school. We needed probably maybe some help with culture, bonding, things, and I just knew that our primary has made great strides, but still needed that extra whatever. And we have schools who already have that culture built. They're still building it and thought that would be a good idea. We put a team of teachers there and administrators. We went there last night. He was phenomenal and very energetic, a little old school, which was nice to see.
It was a
Manners,
a little bit.
it was just some basic, treat others like you'd like to be treated type of thing, but with kids from Harlem, from kids from Atlanta, he's done it in different places. Anyway, long story short, they are getting to go, to Huntington Bank and John Ebert, to Atlanta to see this school, to go through this professional development for 4 or 5 days, always visits me.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, how many teachers are going? Or
5 teachers, 2 administrators.
Oh, very nice.
Somebody from each grade level and someone to try to bring back things that.
We had tears, we had confetti, we had. It was an excellent event, really. It was well done. You don't see that celebrating teachers, like they were celebrating them.
Huntington said this is the first round of what they're doing, trying to do things for teachers. So they're continuing this year.
Who are the folks that are going? Do we know yet?
Yes.
Do you know yet?
Oh, yes. And we took them with us last night, and then they found out. We want names. Yeah, the 2 administrators that are for primary, Sydney Tennant, Jennifer Zigafus, Tara Barnett, Casey Clausen.
From just different schools around the county.
Cassie Spiker.
Number 4 elementary.
Primary.
Cassie Spiker.
Cassie Spiker.
And then the other thing that's happening, we've had AP testing going on, this week. Testing in our schools happening, this month, and of course, semester exams coming up, so quite busy. We have summer school update. We only have about 55 right now registered for our summer school. We're doing 3 sites, and it's really, we've had to move some. We're doing, of course, keeping it at, we're moving it to Bridgeport High, Bridgeport Middle, and then Leonard Fork. Yeah. So we'll have 3 sites, 3 places for, food availability for kids, so that's important. So busy, but only 55 kids, which is, we'd like to get more. We advertise a lot, but only 55. There's a lot of things happening. And then I have Mr. Gibson will give an update next time on the nutritional things happening. I did find out about the pepperoni. There's an alternative, and it's real pepperoni. It's going on the diet. So he said, don't be worried about pepperoni and the food. And cereals, they've already, all the vendors have already like worked through. He said there's very few things coming off our menus.
It's amazing.
By August 1. So, and he also wrote grants, see what grants, we got new equipment coming, he got the grants. So he's going to share all that with you in a safety update next time. And then you have an updated list of board meetings. And I think the city council is wanting to do a collaborative meeting with us. They will be presenting on the 20th on ideas that they'd like to see possibly with our vacant, or our properties on the empty. So they're going to talk to us and then you can decide, and we'd like to do a collaborative meeting together, which is very possible.
to do that possibly in June. And I think Mr. Lopez, we talked and the projects are just moving along.
Yes, everything's moving along well, and then, of course, we met last week to finalize some of the renovations to Mount Middle and Liberty, and those should be going out to bid.
Like now, when we told them now, they need to go out because we want that work done.
Wouldn't we just have a bit, just have something come?
Paving, it was for the architecture for the paving projects.
Yeah, we've accepted those, the applications, but we haven't opened them yet, and then that will open and also interview.
That's all I have.
Mr. Hogue, you have a PTC
No,
update?
next week.
All right. Takes us down to consent items. Is there a motion to accept consent items as presented? We have our meeting minutes, financial transactions, and the appointment of our treasurer for the fiscal year 2026.
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. New business, out-of-state professional leave request and out-of-state travel study request. You have that in front of you. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Bus driver promissory note. Motion to approve payment to Derek Bunch, substitute bus operator, for reimbursement of $200 for one-time fees incurred for bus operator training, and $1,300 as a program incentive for completing the required 52 hours of mandatory substitute bus operator training. Is there a motion to approve the reimbursement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have a motion to approve the level 2 elementary assistant principal supplement of $5,450 that had been inadvertently left off the 2024-2025 supplement schedule. Is there a motion to get it on the floor?
I so move.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, MOU between Harrison County Schools and Southern Educational Services Cooperative for bus operator training examination services. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, can you explain this a little bit more to me? Is it just going to be training? Is it training?
This is something that's, since RESA were dissolved, this basically took the place of RESA, and there's oversight to make sure the process is, we can't pay our own people. So we have to go through a cooperative. So this has to be a cooperative. We've been going through ever since RESA was dissolved.
Okay, is that local?
It's
Southern
in Raleigh
Education?
County.
Okay.
It's in Raleigh.
But some of our drivers are trainers. right?
Yeah, so we have 3 trainers.
Yeah.
And, so we have 3 trainers and they're paid through them. Of course, we reimburse them.
The reason we do that is if we pay our drivers directly to train, we get no reimbursement. If we go through the co-op and then we charge it to the training, then we get the transportation reimbursement.
Gotcha.
That's the other.
That's a good one.
Yes, maximize that money.
That's right. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, motion to approve Harrison Universal Preschool Program as recommended at an approximate cost of $188,980. This is our preschool curriculum adoption.
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. What does it mean by beyond paper digital? Is it going to be digital for that age group or is it paper?
Okay, we don't use worksheets or anything in pre-K. It's digital for the teachers, but they are also doing a print version for us too. We'll get a one-time print version.
So what will the students be using?
Students they're all hands-on. They,
Okay,
their academics are hands-on in centers.
okay. I just had visions of them staring at a screen all
No,
day.
no, no, no.
Okay, thank you. It was a nightmare.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Last item of new business, social studies textbook adoption. Is there a motion to approve the social studies textbook adoption as recommended? The elementary adoption, social studies instructional materials from teacher created materials at a cost of $307,197.60. Secondary adoption, social studies instructional materials totaling $839,448.10. Cengage, $185,092. Raw Hill, $19,776.90. Bedford Freeman and Frederick High School Publishers, $66,287.10. Claremont Press, $55,150.20. Pearson Educational, $11,239.55. And HMH, $501,902.35. These are your elementary, middle school, and high school adoptions. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, these were chosen by the teachers, I take it.
Yeah, at the bottom, you should have social studies, yeah.
Now, are there textbooks involved, actual textbooks involved?
Yes.
They usually have an online component.
They have an online component, but they'll have classroom sets.
Just classroom sets?
And they can have, there's extra for them to sign off if they need to take home.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Old business. Recommended third-party administrator of self-insured dental and vision plan. You have this new information in front of you. And I'll let you know, I received a couple of messages today about how it was very, and congratulations to you. You did a great job, and you should be recognized for the great job that you've done.
We actually spent a lot of time, we opened the bids, we received the bids, we scored them here. And then we had providers look at them, they scored the pieces. And I think in front of you, if you look, we even had the associations in, there's the different groups there, they looked at them. And so you have a compilation there, and I think it's honestly, the two companies, either one could do a good job, I believe. And you can see what the providers are preferring and what.
And if you want to just look at your packets there, the first piece of that in each group is the providers we currently have in our area. And then the next piece is the confirmation, even though they had it in all the proposals, that's the one that's been writing from them, but even if they were not part of the network, that the provider could actually direct bill. And then the last piece of that, in each one of those packets, is that analysis that I shared with the board earlier about the payments that our current third-party administrator had paid between 9/9 and December 2nd. And highlighted are the people that are already signed up to the various different vendors that we're looking at tonight. And then at the bottom, it talks about the percentage of the amount billed as already signed up versus what is not. Sort of like their saturation rate.
What is Zealous?
Zealous is it's a network provider, a network. Like you have different networks, like there's United Concordia, there's Zealous, which is actually mostly, it's Corden, it's most Dental. There is Dentamax, there is Cigna, everybody has their own little networks that they use.
Okay, so these are ones
These are the
that,
ones that benefit assistance, the Zealous is one of the benefit assistance that we network with.
So that's the two, benefit assistance and that benefit. American benefits do not submit.
yeah. And the one was late.
And one was like, yes. And we sent out 11. We actually started with there was a survey done across the state for everybody that's self-insured dental plans. It was quite a great response for it. One thing about the treasurer, when you send a survey, the treasurer try to actually get the information in, so you have the data. And then it's shared amongst all the other counties. And we found 6 different providers on that survey across the state administering self-insured plans. So they got a packet mailed to them. Plus we advertised locally and across the state. And then we also did a Google search and we found other providers that we didn't already have listed, and we sent them the packets as well. And then we had about 3 or 4 other companies that had contacted us, and they really wanted us to move away from a self-insured and go to their plan where we paid them a flat fee, like a regular insurance company. Like now our plan is a self-insured plan. And some of them also requested that I send our employee census data, which would have had all the employee information. I said I cannot give that to you because we are not under contract and I don't have any confidentiality agreements with you. So.
What happened, my one question is, let's just say you're on whichever plan you're on, and you're out of state or something happened dental-wise that you need.
We have 2 options.
Okay,
If the one company actually is nationwide, so that's the one company. And we put them in order on the matrix by the time St. we received the proposals. So that first company, the BSP, those are nationwide networks. So that's one piece of that. The other thing is when you're out like that, the vendor will actually bill, and this is whether they're here or there, somewhere else, they bill the third-party administrator for us to process the claim to be processed, and they can be paid directly. And then the last option is you can pay for it, and then the employee can actually request the reimbursement. Great question.
One thing that was requested was that if we could have a letter, if this is approved, sent to the employees.
Oh,
so that they
absolutely.
can take
That's actually part of all of the implementation of it. And that'll be happening over the next 3 weeks. Is that
During the interview.
provider would be,
Now we
provider
get
would be
these out.
verified, employees would be verified. Insurance cards would be printed as a one-time courtesy and sent to all employees with instructions on how to where they need to go, and all kinds of things.
So what happens if the dentist or the optometrist is on this list?
They
Can they still get on the list?
Yes, they can, yes. They can either sign up or they can just go ahead and just submit the bill and then they would just process and pay. What the network does is provides, if it says that you're part of the network, then what happens is, just like your health insurance, you're part of the network, you're agreeing to collect this much money, and that's collecting that service. So like for our prophylaxis, our dental cleanings, it's 100% covered. So if you sign up for the network, then whatever the fee is that you've agreed to, that's what you're going to be paid for that. You can then not bill the employees. If you do not sign up for the network, that's where you're saying that I'm still going to bill employees. I don't think I got enough money.
So the employee would pay, and would the employee get reimbursed?
No, because the maximum amount, remember we went through this, the maximum amount that we will repay is whatever the network is. Which is why I thought it was important to have the providers of these networks, that they each group proposed, and then they evaluated which one is better.
Okay.
And there's one provider that did not submit it back. What we did, we couldn't leave the proposal with them, so we had to go meet with them. And so we met with them, and most of the providers knew right off the top of their head how much everybody paid on all the different networks. We had one provider that's not part of any network, and so they weren't able to evaluate. But the other providers that were, they actually work with all the networks, and they ranked the group that provided, I'm sure, the most for them, but that's network prices for them, at the higher rates.
Are we gonna run into the same issue with the discounts?
We will not be running into the same issue with the discount. Because the administrative fees are a flat fee, there will be no percentage of the discount going back to the third-party administrator. That was one of the things that was very clear, and we made sure that I answered that in the interviews as well. The other thing is, we also put the cap, if you remember correctly, we took out the usual customary rates, so that we did not have the payment disparities, and so the maximum that would be paid out would be the network. So there'll be no dentist paid, no dentist or visual person paid more than what our maximum is.
Any further discussion? I had a motion in a second, right?
Yeah, we're ready to vote.
All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We heard one. Aye. Aye. Three. Okay. All right. Is there any opposed? No? Okay.
2 abstentions.
I would suggest maybe if you want to abstain, say it. You don't want to.
Which one would you accept? You guys get a pay.
Well, oh, wait a minute, Bento was the one that
Oh,
was
maybe we
recommended.
should.
But, because that's what I'm saying, because it has these 2 here, we didn't like.
Oh, maybe we need to specify
We
which
did.
one we're
Make the
voting
motion
for.
again. Did I make the motion?
No,
I don't think I did. Okay, that's fine.
You made a motion to
Open it, put it on the floor.
Put it on the floor, but then we're just discussing. We haven't actually.
I think we need a motion as to which provider we're.
Right.
Yes,
Because they're really
that's right.
both,
I
which
did
I
not
think
make
that
the
was
motion.
confusing.
No, I didn't make.
I was reading mine, so I'm sorry.
All right, so there is no motion, so let's make a motion to request, I'm sorry. Recommend third-party administrator of self-insured dental and vision plan. You have them in front of you. And they are Bento and.
Benefit assistance.
Both companies did say that they didn't turn it on, that would not be a problem. To get what we need done.
Where are they both from?
Benefit assistance was Ripley area. Victo, I believe, is out of
Nationwide.
Yeah, Boston's office, we spoke with, yeah.
And benefit assistance is where?
Ripley.
Ripley.
Is the one we were talking to.
And it was interesting during this process, I always wondered why Walmart and Sam's Club stopped taking med benefits or benefit assistance. And when I was meeting with someone from the Walmart Vision Center, she said, "Do you know why that happened?" I said, "No, but I love them." And it was whenever they stopped taking layaways. Because what they could do is when they had the layaway, is the employee could pay their portion of it. They would then hold the glasses until the payment came in, and then it was paid in full, and they could release it. Well, when they made the corporate decision that layaways were no longer valid for their business model, they no longer had that methodology. So that's why they can no longer accept those third-party vendors if they're not actually signed up through a network. I thought was interesting.
So there's a motion on the floor, so which one to choose? Bento or benefit assistance? And I'm assuming the recommendation is to go with Bento from the county office.
They sort of, yeah, it's higher in the school board.
They have more providers.
Yeah. That seemed to be the,
Consensus.
our local providers.
And when would this start? Not till January.
Oh,
July.
There we go. This is what I was contacted about, was Bento today. I was contacted about.
I think we need to make a specific motion to pay Bento.
Is there a motion?
But how do you do that? Because we already have a motion.
Make a adjustment.
Friendly amendment.
Yeah, and the motion, who made the motion?
Make a friendly amendment that we choose Bento as our provider.
All right. It has been recommended that we choose Bento, and the motion has been made to choose Bento. Is there any discussion about choosing Bento as the benefits provider? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That was a tough one. All right. Personnel matters. Actually, let's go to, personnel matters. Is there a motion for executive session?
I move pursuant to 69A4 of the West Virginia Code that the board of executive session to discuss personnel matters, which, if discussed in public, might affect adversely the reputation of any person.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll be in executive session.
You want me to take Danny's